need some wine for this child. Need some wine and some tea, Lord Jesus. Okay. Let's get it. Hey y'all, it's me and this is KissiaDee, the channel. So welcome back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my first personal video. I'm almost to 900 views right now. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you to the people who are already subscribed, for liking, for commenting, giving me all the positive feedback, the messages, just everything. Thank you guys so much for your support. It's actually been like overwhelming with like, it's just, I just didn't expect for so many people to be this supportive, and it's a really exciting thing. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that I started this channel, and I wanted to go ahead and put out some more content for you guys. So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and get into one of the segments that's gonna be on my channel, and it's called Tea Talk. We all know tea talk, you know, you're trying to sip some tea with your girls, you know, you're trying to get the scoop or whatever, right? So this tea talk is gonna be a little bit different. So as I told y'all in my last video, I definitely discovered that it was some things in 2018 that I discovered about myself. And one of those things was that hot tea. Ooh, it's good for your soul, good for your cycle, good for your body, good for your girl. It's good for all of that. Mind you, I won't drink no sweet tea because to be, you know, in all actuality, I really feel like tea is like dirty water. Like, you know, you put dirt in water. But, you know, I've really grown to like love it. I have terrible allergies. It helps. So tea talk is just gonna be me, you know, in my zen room, like I stated, drinking my tea, talking to y'all how I would talk to my girls. You know, that's what it is. For this tea talk now, I'm gonna just go ahead and give y'all a forewarning. You know, it's gonna get pretty deep, and I actually wanted to record it last night, right after I watched what I'm going to be discussing, but I was too emotional. So for this tea talk, I will be having a little bit of wine because, you know, oh boy, it just makes me feel some type of way. So anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, let me go ahead. Yes, Lord. Okay. On this first segment of Tea Talk, I want to go ahead and start by saying that the topic is going to be Surviving R. Kelly, the docu-series, the 3-night docu-series that was just on Lifetime, and it concluded yesterday, actually. So what was that? It was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They played two 1-hour episodes each night, and it was pretty much just, you know, his wife, along with many other different women / girls that he has victimized, abused, taken advantage of, you know, all the above. You know, with that being said, you know, it was God, I don't even know where to begin when talking about it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys a little bit of information if you have not watched it. So for the first 2 nights, you know, it just pretty much talked about early on in his career, things that he has went through as well. So this was actually my first time hearing that R. Kelly was molested whenever it started, whenever he was 7 years old, all the way up to whenever he was a teenager, actually by his older sister. Because I did my little research, and his younger brother, who was also in the documentary, stated that he was molested as well. And he went on to say, you know, give a little bit more detail in a separate interview outside of the docu-series, talking about them being molested. So that was already a lot to take in, child. So there, so, you know, they start talking about that, and, you know, then they just say, you know, how his career began. And, you know, I also didn't know he dropped out of high school whenever he was a senior. He was never really good in school, just good in music. So that was another thing that was kind of like, ooh, didn't know that about R. Kelly. No education. But anyway, so that was another thing that was in the documentary. And, you know, then it, you know, began to go into his relationship with Aaliyah, which was the first, from what we know, the first girl that he messed with publicly that was underage. So I went to talk about his relationship with Aaliyah, and you know how they got married whenever she was 15. His tour manager did state that he was there when they got married, and that, you know, he was there helping them to forge the paperwork to say that she was 18. The marriage was annulled within 2 months after her family, you know, got a hold of everything. And so, you know, that was that or whatever. So then it began to, you know, just talk about, it did give a little bit of backstory on, you know, him and Aaliyah, and just talking about how, you know, they did get caught having sexual relations on the tour bus. And that's whenever people really started realizing, you know, as far as the people on his team started realizing that, okay, this is serious. Like, you know, he's really out here messing with this underage girl or whatever. But of course, it's R. Kelly, so nobody says anything. Nobody says, you know, it's R. Kelly and it's just her. You know, they were just looking at it like, oh, well, it's just Aaliyah. You know, they did a whole album together. You know, it's just her. He's just infatuated with her. So that's that. First night was kind of like, okay, you know, it was a few more survivors. His wife talked a little bit. Second night, his wife goes into talking about it a little bit more, you know, the abuse that she suffered, and, you know, him getting off on the trial. Whenever, you know, the sex tape, that was a sex tape that was leaked. For those of you who don't know, it was a sex tape that was leaked. The early 2000s, I believe. So, you know, I was young at the time, and, you know, of course you hear about things, and whenever you're young, you know, you look right over that. And us being adults now, it's just like, we just been looking over a lot of stuff that R. Kelly did, okay? Shoot. So the sex tape comes out, right? And it drops in the early 2000s. He's urinating on a 14-year-old girl at the time. Now, when it goes to trial, the girl and her family, although it was a lot of other witnesses that was her and that was him in the video, the girl as well as her parents stated that that wasn't her, more so to protect their family name, which is why he got off. You know, when it comes to court, it's really not about, it's about evidence, but it's about what you can prove in court. And if the daughter, I mean, you know, the girl in the video wasn't willing to state that that was her, it's really not much you can do. So that's that. Now, here's where it gets real. I gotta swap this out, because, okay. Ooh. Last night, the episodes were talking about what's going on now with R. Kelly. And, you know, it showed pretty much what they're saying is that he has these girls brainwashed. And it's more so of like he has a sex cult, like he's running a sex traffic ring out of hotels and studios between Atlanta and Chicago. It showed footage of a mother going to a hotel that she believed her daughter was at, and, you know, really finding her because of a video that was put out on TMZ, and literally helping her escape from R. Kelly, literally. The girl was so terrified. It was bad, y'all. It was another family that was on there trying to find their daughter in a studio, throwing rocks at a window, trying to see if that was their daughter in the studio. Haven't talked to her for 3 years. You know, they all state they're so in love with him, they're happy. But these girls aren't allowed to go to the bathroom. They're so isolated from the world. And, you know, his wife even has said that, you know, that was his mindset. You know, he told these girls to call him daddy. He took these girls to Virginia. They were 14 years old. It was so many things, and all of the survivors had similar stories. So it wasn't like, oh, they were saying these outlandish things and, you know, how could this be? It was very, just watching it, it was uncomfortable to watch. And it was a few times where I felt like I needed to turn it off because I was so uncomfortable. And I felt like literally watching it last night, my anxiety was through the roof, and I could not understand. I'm like, yo, this isn't even happening to me and I'm feeling like this, you know what I'm saying? So with all of that being said, that's just a little bit of taste of what was in the actual video, and well, in the docu-series. That was just a taste. And whew, goodness God. So with that being said, let me just start by saying that I grew up on R. Kelly, okay? R. Kelly was one of those artists that my dad played so much that I knew everything, all words, all the albums. You know, people ask me, who's somebody you want to see live? And I'm like, R. Kelly, I have to see R. Kelly before I die. No, would never. For a while, and you know, after watching it, I can honestly say that I felt sorry and apologetic for even having that mindset of thinking like, oh, they're just doing it for money, they're just doing this. After seeing the documentary and just looking at all of the evidence as far as the sex tape, Aaliyah, you know, of course, all of these women did say, yeah, we of course, it was consensual sex. It was consensual. I always said that I would go and do it, but what he did and how he brainwashed them and isolated them and locking them in rooms and they can't use their phones, they have to call him daddy and they get punished if they don't. It's like, what? You're sick. And all of these women were 17 girls. These are little girls. They were 17 years old. It's no excuse. It's no excuse at all. So I can honestly say after watching that, I felt sorry and I felt apologetic for even thinking that these women would lie about something so true to them, their virtue and their integrity. Like it just made me feel a way. I'm like, golly, like this is a man who wrote I Believe I Can Fly. This man worked with Michael Jackson. Like, how could you be this type of person? You're a musical genius, but you are a very sick and disturbed and hateful individual. If you could manipulate and destroy these women's lives, these girls' lives. Young girls are so impressionable, and whenever you're saying like, oh yeah, you know, it's R. Kelly, he has Grammys and he has this and he has that, so of course they're gonna be like, this is R. Kelly, I'm gonna do whatever he says because he can help me, he can take me to another level. But all that he was doing was just manipulating them, and you know, it just made me feel so bad. And you know, to know that it's still girls that are with him, and I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I feel like the conversation now really needs to be had of how do we separate the artist from the person? Is it okay to separate the artist from the person? How do we separate someone's art and into just continuing to enjoy that when we know the type of person they are? And that goes not just for R. Kelly, but Kanye. Like, you know, I've had my back and forth with him, like, okay, he's doing all of this in the media, you know, as far as him supporting the president. Like, how can I listen to this person's music who's in favor of somebody who's not in favor of me? Because I'm a black woman, and you know, black women, let's just be honest, we always get the short end of the stick. Like, it's one thing to be a woman, but it's another thing to be black and to be a black woman. So how can I support someone who cannot support me, regardless of him being, that's just how I feel. So how am I supposed to listen to an R. Kelly song knowing that he's singing about a little girl and it seems like you're ready? How am I supposed to listen to Sex Me knowing that he was bumping and grinding with hello freshmen in high school? How am I supposed to do it? I can't. And I feel like after watching that, I've came to the conclusion that sometimes you cannot separate the artist from the person, and you cannot support someone who continues to do that to our women. We have to protect our women. So, you know, as much as it hurts, you know, R. Kelly has completely killed his legacy. Whether any of this is ever proven or not, or whether he ever goes to jail, I feel like his legacy has been tainted so much that it's really, it's nothing we can do at this point, Kels. Like, you sick, dog. And it hurts, but I just want, you know, all of you to understand that sometimes we do have to do that. You know? You have to not just look in favor of these men in the industry just because they're men and we're so worried about the system getting to them. No, because they're not gonna do that for us. You know, we have to protect our women, and that's just what it's come to. And you know, it's so sad, like it hurts my feelings so bad that we still have some women out there who now are probably like, well, how we know he did? How we know? You know, he wanted to, these women want money. Why they all coming up now? Because they were scared. Have you thought about, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to see these women crying the way that they was crying, like, that wasn't no joke. They not up there lying. What they got to gain from that? What do they have to gain? That's a lot for a survivor, a woman who's been victimized by this man. That's shameful. That's embarrassing to come up and talk about that to the world, and to know that you were tricked into being with somebody who you thought loved you, and then he goes and he does all these things. But that goes for all women who are, you know, tricked into being in these relationships where it ends up being abusive, whether it's emotional or mental or physical. Like, and that goes for, you know, it's a lot. And I feel like the docu-series was necessary because I've seen people in the media, as far as different artists, who are like, you know, that man is a legend, we can't take that from him. I've seen those same people now apologize for saying what they said before, because we weren't in favor of these women who he hurt. And that's who needs our support. He don't need our support. That's who needs our support, these women that he did that to. So I just want y'all to think about that whenever you say, oh, well, this is R. Kelly's music and this, that, and the third. Well, baby, he was talking about little Sally across the street. He was talking about your niece, or he was talking about your daughter. Think about that whenever you listening to R. Kelly. Shoot, that's that. All I'm saying is mute R. Kelly, okay? Because at this point, you know, you gotta protect your own, and we have to protect our women, period. So if you haven't watched it, I suggest that you watch it. I suggest that you have these conversations with your daughters, with your nieces, with your friends, whoever needs to have these conversations about messing with or getting involved with these older men, or, you know, just letting any man, don't let any man or anybody for that matter ever manipulate you into doing something that you don't want to do. Please have these conversations with your daughters and your nieces and whoever, and let them know, love yourself, love them. That's all I can say. Check out the docu-series if you haven't seen it. Mute R. Kelly. That's that. It's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for coming to my tea talk, even though I ended up drinking this wine, child, because my nerves. This makes my nerves bad. But thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Please let me know what you think and let me know how you feel. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all of the above. Thank you guys for coming. Stay tuned. This is KissiaDee, the channel.